Hey guys, what's going on? Dr. Frank here, founder of AddictionMindset recovery coaching programs. And in today's brief video, I want to react to the new thing that I see going around, and that's these buzz bar products. These are vape products that don't contain nicotine, but they contain caffeine and melatonin and other things like that. And predominantly today, I want to talk about caffeine and melatonin. And if you don't want to watch this video, I'm just going to tell you my opinion right now. This is an absolute no. I would not do this. I think you're better off sticking with a nicotine product, and I'm going to tell you exactly why that is. Here at Addiction Mindset Recovery Coaching, we help people quit THC, energy drinks, pornography, nicotine, and a bunch of other things. So be sure to subscribe if you find today's video valuable. First things first, if you're looking or considering using these products, chances are you're doing that because you want to quit using a nicotine vape device. And there's a few big problems with this, and I want to start with the most obvious. Well, maybe to some it's not obvious. When you're quitting vaping, you have to realize it's all about mindset. It's not about a replacement product. It's not about that oral fixation, even though we say it is and it feels like it is. It's all about the mentality that you approach quitting with. If you are simply going to replace a nicotine vape with a caffeine vape, you are still under the impression that you're giving something up and that you're making a sacrifice, hence the need to replace it with something else. And I would almost guarantee you long term, what I predict would happen is you would find yourself vaping both caffeine and eventually reintroducing nicotine into the picture. Now, that's the first and biggest problem that we're going to have. Second thing, nicotine vape devices, and I'm talking about legitimate products, freebase nicotine mod units, vapes, they have been around for a little bit. And there are high quality liquids out there, and from a health standpoint, the research says, look, it might not be that bad. There's some good literature out of the UK. Now, I would argue, who cares about the health problems? It's about the addiction that you're dealing with. That's why you want to quit. So, even if it's healthy, quote unquote, do you still want to be a slave to a USB drive for the rest of your life? That's my question. And that's where I'd be more concerned. When it comes to caffeine, I don't know how much literature we have right now, especially from our GI system and our cardiovascular system, our heart and our central nervous system, our brain and our spinal cord, areas of our body that caffeine impacts. I don't know what the impact of vaping caffeine is going to be. And I suspect we're going to find that it's very, very high risk. And I'm going to tell you why that is. Caffeine is highly addicting. It's just as addicting as nicotine. I think it's safe to say. And we can base that on the amount of people who are addicted to coffee and energy drinks and things like that. I'm not saying there's a problem with coffee or energy drinks. I'm making a point here. So you're still going to be highly addicted to this substance. I don't think vaping caffeine is a good way to break an addiction. I think it's a good way to build a new addiction at potentially a higher risk. We know what we're dealing with nicotine. Inhaling caffeine, what happens is it gets into your digestive system quicker, and you can read this right on the websites, and it has a shorter impact. So it enters your bloodstream faster and it leaves your body faster, which is going to increase the rates of dependence and the rates of withdrawal. This was the exact same platform that nicotine salts run on. This is exactly what made Juul and other pod devices and now disposable vape products so frigging addicting. So all you guys are seeing is another company repackaging a different drug and taking advantage of you. And many people will argue nicotine is about as harmful as caffeine. There are physicians who will make that statement. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. I disagree because many times we're getting nicotine in the form of cigarettes and chewing tobacco and unregulated vape devices that don't have any quality assurance or quality control. And in that case, I think nicotine is much more harmful than a cup of coffee. Of course it is. Of course inhaling something is going to be harmful. And do I think that vaping a caffeine product or a melatonin product is any better for your breathing, is any better for your lungs? Of course not. Of course it's not. And my bigger concern is we know how nicotine impacts your central nervous system. It's a stimulant. But what happens when we're vaping caffeine, especially if we're combining it with nicotine eventually, because I think most people are going to relapse back to nicotine, but they're now going to be dependent upon that caffeine rush too. Now here's where I think the story gets even worse. They're selling you an upper and a downer. So here's this company, BuzzBar, and they are literally selling you something to wake you up in the morning and something to put you to sleep at night. This is systematically designed dependence. Not only are you going to be now dependent to move throughout the day and get things accomplished, you're going to think, or you might literally become dependent upon that melatonin to fall asleep. And people are going to say, Dr. Frank, you're wrong. You're wrong. The research says you can't become dependent on melatonin. Show me the research of someone under the age of 25 with healthy melatonin levels that's been vaping it for a year, 2 years. Show me the research that says that that person isn't going to develop a dependence. You can't, because that research doesn't exist. Show me the research on someone under the age of 25 or someone that maybe has an underlying cardiac condition that they weren't aware of, and now suddenly they start vaping a faster acting caffeine product. Do you really think that's going to be safe for them? No. I see cardiac arrest and heart arrhythmias are going to be through the roof, and I don't think doctors are going to understand what's going on, because I don't think people are going to be honest about what it is they're doing. Now, I'm beating up caffeine right now, just like pre-workout products, just like people who become dependent and addicted to caffeine. Eventually, you are legitimately playing with your adrenal glands, and I think you're going to hit a severe point of adrenal burnout. A lot of people who are addicted to nicotine hit this. This is that constant state of fatigue. This is that brain fog, unless you have more nicotine, unless you have more caffeine. Because imagine running a car in red line all day long. And even worse, you take your foot off the gas and that car's still in red line. So now this company's telling you, yeah, just vape some melatonin to slow things back down. Well, melatonin is a hormone. And guess what? The studied dose of melatonin to actually be sleepy, I literally think it's 0.3 milligrams, less than 1 milligram. So everyone's out here taking melatonin products and taking vape melatonin products. Have you ever had your melatonin levels checked? Do you have any idea if that's even the problem? Because it's most likely not. The problem might be the amount of stimulants you're consuming during the day. The problem might be your sleep patterns. The problem might be your nutrition. The problem might be the lack of physical stimulation and mental stimulation that you're getting during the day. There's several things that can, the problem, you might have a thyroid problem. We run blood work on patients all the time, and you wouldn't believe the issues that we find that are undiagnosed. And that's not even my job to be doing that. That's something I'm licensed to do, so it's pretty cool in New York State that I can do that. But, and also guys, if you want to work with us one-on-one, there's links below. That's a plug for my office's Addiction Mindset. If you need help with your health or breaking these addictions, you can schedule one-on-one consultations. But these are the questions that we should be asking. My last point on this is this: stop falling for it. You are a victim. When you're using a product like BuzzBar, you are a victim of another company's marketing tactics. You are a victim of someone selling you caffeine to wake you up and melatonin to put you to bed. You are becoming dependent on another company's product, just like you were dependent on Juul and Hyde and Puff Bar and all that other junk. It's time for you to break free of this. You deserve better than this. You don't want to spend the rest of your life being a sucker for something that someone else is trying to sell you. Literally making you dependent on something that you don't need to be dependent upon. And then one day you're going to feel like such crap, you're not going to know up from down. That's how this ends. That's the direction that this stuff goes. And I'm passionate about it because I lived it. And no one was there to pull me out. No one was there to explain to me what was going on. That's why I do this. That's why I'm on this channel. That's why I'm sitting out on my patio on Sunday night screaming into my phone in front of all my neighbors who think I'm probably some recovered psychopath addict at this point. That's why I'm here. Guys, I hope this makes sense. I think I made my points crystal clear, and I didn't even go into all the possible health consequences. I'll make another video on it. Anyways, follow me into the next video where I talk about why I don't think you should use essential oil vape products either. I'll see you guys there.